champion, and Ethan Strand won the 3K indoors, one of 2 events, including the mile that he set the collegiate record in. The Tar Heels are the talk of the town, Jimmy, let's face it.
I mean, arguably the best duo in NCAA history. I don't say that lightly. I'm not speaking for my own health. Ethan Strand has done incredible work. NCAA's indoors was quite the treat. Battles we saw there with Gary Martin and UVA and the finishes there. Parker he had a tough fall, closed well, all things considered. But how about the Olympic trials in this event for Parker Wolfe?
He took 3rd.
He nearly made an Olympic team. And then he has a teammate that they duo up and do some amazing things in DMR. And we haven't even started talking about their support cast, and they're all next to each other.
Colton Sands, another Tar Heel in this. Patrick Anderson, one of the top returners. His teammate, Will Coogan. Those 2 did some damage last year. And their other teammate, Aiden Neal, will be tasked with the pacing duties for this men's 5,000. And what I love about the setup here, Jimmy, is the fact that Strand, Sands, Wolfe, and Neal are the 4 men scheduled to run in 2 days in the Championship of America 4x-mile.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Chemistry, talk about chemistry. Hey, let's get out together, boys, in the 5 on Thursday night and come back and try to win a wheel. Well, let's see who's going to be the victor today. They have some opponents to fight against, like Bob Liking, an incredible athlete in his own right from Wisconsin. This is what I've been looking forward to.
Joe Sapone, another pace setter for the Tar Heels early. They are already strung out on the top 4. Liking, whom you mentioned, in 5th. A great closer, 358 miler. Just such a versatile talent from Wisco. But really, it was at that Wisconsin cross-country course where we first got to see what we had in store for this season for 2 of our Bowerman Award favorites, Parker Wolfe and Ethan Strand, finishing top 10 in cross-country, and then just a week later at BU, 7:30 for the both of them. Strand just so happened to get the win at the line in an insane collegiate record race that took 6 seconds off of Drew Bosley's old mark.
Oh, that was baffling when we saw that. And to think that these guys are teammates going toe-to-toe to the line, setting the fastest times in NCAA history, and as you just said, demolishing that mark. Speaking of, they're getting out hot early. That first 200 hitting a 30. They're settling down a little bit, as I think we saw about a 64, 65. But when you got the likes of those 2 teammates, we're going to bring out Sapone, who's going to pace this way and set these gentlemen up well. Look how strung out this field is already.
They're making it a fast one. They were asking for around 65 per quarter mile. I can confirm that we're well ahead of that right now. Pace setters trying to keep it honest to set potentially some qualifying marks for the field and potentially some records for the top racers. Looking at our Penn Relays record, is held by a former Tar Heel, Ralph King. In 1978, ran 13:33.7. And of course, the collegiate record was set just last week at Brian Clay outdoors by Hoptum Samuel, 13:05.87.
Wow, so we're looking at another 40-plus-year-old record here. Imagine that, Ralph King. If that record falls today, which most certainly can from these gentlemen, a 420s exactly, which is what they're currently running pace-wise, would be what Ralph King ran.
That first kilometer was right around a 242.70 for Joe Sapone. So looking at where that get them to, that'd be right there in the mid-13s, so not a bad pace whatsoever. Definitely a little wind down from that early adrenaline. I'd imagine that the Championship of America wheel in the 4x-mile is going to be the most pressing issue for the Tar Heels, so they're going to want to get some good strength in their legs. And considering what we often see in the Penn 4x-mile, and even what we rarely see, like what we saw last year, having that strength can help you be ready for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been a theme tonight, and we're going to see that come out. The idea right now, as we're approaching 4 minutes, stay calm, stay relaxed. It's a lot of racing ahead of us, and they got to follow the pacing duties, of their teammates. Lock in, stay relaxed, be ready for a competitive close.
Really starting to quicken now.
I'm looking at 6 Tar Heel jerseys on that screen in the top 10.
2 of them are pace setters, keep in mind, but Colton Sands, another guy who ran the 3K at Indoor Nationals with Parker Wolfe, with Ethan Strand. He was 15th, but he proved that he could run 7:39 at his best. Just made such great improvements in the wake of his teammates. It's not just that 1-2 punch that benefits off of each other, pushing each other.
Absolutely.
It's the rest of the team as well.
420 through the 1600, that's low 1330s pace that they're on. Little injection of pacing duties here from Sapone, going 64 low, and all his teammates as well, of course, as Bob Liking responding well to that.
Liking coming off of a big 10K at the Stanford Invitational. He was 9th in that race that included the top qualifying mark currently in the NCAA by Evans Karui of Washington State, and a number of other strong performances. Just looking at some of what he's done over the 5K, 13:22.80. We got to see him run that at that same BU opener meet.
Loved watching Liking in cross. Just a tough guy, tough mudder. You need to see that in the 5K, 10K steeple, what we've been seeing tonight. And Liking is rolling with these Tar Heel boys as our first pacer. Sapone steps off the track, leading pacing duties to Aiden Neal, with, of course, Wolfe and Strand sitting on his shoulder.
That second kilometer was around a 2:43 high by my estimates. So a little bit of yo-yoing, a concept that we talked about earlier between the pacing, not so much in terms of the racing tactics, because if you look at this race in landscape, it is one runner after another.
Yep. That shot, with the exception of our Florida State athlete, Theodore, that looks like Zach Leachman. You couldn't see anybody because of that single file line. So we're now clipping off some 66 as the pacing duties is in Neal's hands. Expect a big negative split even when Neal steps off for the dynamic duo of Wolfe and Strand.
We mentioned the Florida State athletes, Zach Cloud, Zach Leachman, those two separated right now, but currently together are 2 other Wisconsin Badgers, Johnny Livingstone and Micah Wilson. We got to see Wilson run in this event last year. He was a little bit further towards the front, if I recall correctly, in the early stages at Penn Relays. So could he be looking to implement some different strategies? Again, this is a pretty decent pace still as we hit the top of that stretch. Still in those 1330s range. They could just be looking to go for that Penn record, which is 1333. And with so many athletes still comfortable on the pace, we're going to likely see something in 1320 something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I expect when Neal steps off, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an injection of that speed. For the first split second, it looked like there was a minor gap between Wolfe and Strand, but Ethan responds to Parker. Look how relaxed Parker Wolfe looks. I mean, you would think he's going out for a Saturday 16-mile long run, just clipping off 630s, but he's running 420 pace right now.
The same, of course, goes for Ethan Strand. I mean, you cannot say it enough. That's just what allows these guys to run fast paces, like we've seen those ridiculous closes. I mean, getting into the nitty-gritty, we'd see Ethan Strand be closing 600-meter splits in, what, like 120, 123, that range in the indoor season. Just the ability to drop the hammer, combining that with the ability to stretch it out over these longer distances. One stat line we've yet to mention, Ethan Strand won the 5K ACC title indoors in a kick over Gary Martin, as Parker Wolfe has to take a little spit break there. In this 3rd kilometer split, we have 8:13.17, the official clocking for Aiden Neal.
Yeah, of course these guys have the chops to be in those 13.0s as they have run 13.10s indoors. I don't know if we're seeing that today, but nonetheless, we're going to see something spicy over this last 1600.
It is definitely warm out there. Strand, he's sweating, you can tell. Despite how easy he looked early on, it's not so in these conditions. Could bring out some championship dog mentalities as they push each other now on the top 2 with Bob Liking right there in third.
We're coming up to 1,600 to go. Coming through 3,200 was 8:45, 4:25, 4:24 for that second 1,600.
Charlie Ortmans of Harvard, one athlete we've yet to mention. He'll be featured with the Crimson in some distance relays this weekend as well. Now look at Micah Wilson and Johnny Livingstone. They are basically following each other up through the pack. Livingstone there, very right of your frame behind Penn's Dylan Throop. The Badgers, they want to bring it to the Tar Heels.
Indeed, and kudos to them. Behind Ortmans is Zachary Cloud in the all-black FSU.
He's got the beard there, top left of screen. Ortmans with a bit of a gap on him. The top five starting to break away.
See, we're already, as expected. I think that was a 63, Carson, that Parker injected. I would imagine conversations with Coach Milt where, hey, stay relaxed, stay relaxed. When your boys step off, gentlemen, it's time to go.
And even beneath all the racing strategies and tactics, Coach Milt continues to preach just how great it is to see the growth of his athletes. I mean, not even just the men. Michaela Page winning the 800-meter NCAA title indoors for the women. This entire unit has just been getting better and better. And Parker Wolfe, this is going to be a big early season confidence booster if he wants to go ahead and defend his NCAA title.
Yeah, he's pressing into it even more. You can just tell even by the stride length. Four guys, the UNC trio, Bob Liking, as expected, 5-meter gap on the rest of the field led by Ortmans.
Oh, looked like Strand was just about to step on the inside of that rail. He recomposes himself. How will that affect him heading in to this final kilometer? Just look at Coach Milt there by the turn.
Yeah.
Cheering on all four of his teammates. They've even got Patrick Anderson back there, whom, as we talked about thoroughly last year, was involved in that horrific accident, that car accident with his teammate Will Coogan. And just to be back on the track, he's going to be chasing a personal record as well of 13:37.15. We'll see if this is the right race for him to get it. Parker Wolfe into the final 800 meters, still leading over Ethan Strand, Bob Liking, and Colton Sands, the X Factor.
11:26. Don't be surprised if these guys go sub-2 over this last 800. They continue to open up, and Liking is responding to this dynamic duo. Colton Sands really strong in his own right, rolling with this group of men here. I'm excited to see this last 600. Parker Wolfe keeps, looks like he was shifting to the right for a second. That threw me off. I don't know if he was going to say, hey, Ethan, help me out here a little bit, buddy.
In their first track race of their 2024-2025 campaign, I'm going to flash it back once again to Boston University, the 3K. There were four men together. Yassine Amdallah and Gary Martin were right there, but it was that last 400 where you could sense that steady breakaway by the Tar Heels. Bob Liking looks up for the challenge as he hooks up right behind Ethan Strand, but he has to cover the move by Parker Wolfe, who looks over his left shoulder, heading into the bell lap.
Well, Liking getting ahead of Strand. He does here. He's going to take the rail on him, but Parker Wolfe has a 5-meter gap, 12:28 on the clock. That's a 61. We're en route to close in sub-2 over this last 800.
And we know Strand has great closing speed as well, but they are both around 8 to 10 meters distant from the reigning NCAA champion and Olympic trials bronze medalist, Parker Wolfe.
When that distance gets a little bit higher, he might get a little bit of advantage over his teammate. As I say that, Ethan Strand, welcome back. Parker and Ethan Strand, 200 to go.
It is this closing speed that has allowed Strand to make an absolute name for himself. The two Bowerman Award favorites throwing down in these final 200 meters. They know they're just getting warmed up for an epic weekend of relay racing. The 4x-mile will be the main event on day 3 of the Penn Relays, but they've got to close it out here in the 5K on night 1. Now kicking it in, Parker Wolfe and Ethan Strand, and here comes Colton Sands at the very end, a Tar Heel 1, 2, 3. Wolfe takes the win, Strand in second, and Colton Sands with a storming finish for third.
Colton Sands threw his hands out. He's like, yes, we did just secure the trio, 1, 2, 3. Tar Heel, Tar Heel, Tar Heel. They had fun with that over that last 200. With 200 to go, Ethan Strands looked at Coach Milt, and he gave him like the hand pump down. I thought we were going to see a 3 abreast across that line just smiling.
It's as if they were waiting for Colton to come there at the top of the home straightaway. When were they going to go? We were asking ourselves internally. Bob Liking was still in the mix. He held on for fourth. Did a great job to stick with that front pack. His teammate Johnny Livingstone got up for fifth too, so two teams occupying the top 5 spots. Just goes to show you the depth that UNC and Wisconsin have.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to take a look here at that finish with this trio. Colton Sands coming, closing well on Bob Liking.
They're having fun out here. Look at this.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Colton Sands, like,